If you want to laugh and have some fun, this is the podcast. This is the one. Lights, camera, action, on your mark, set, go. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show.
Oh yes, welcome everyone to the Suezie Show. Another episode. Episode number 6. Oh my goodness, I'm just on a roll. I'm like butter on a roll. Okay. That's what I think. Today, I'm going to take you back before podcasts, back before YouTube, before Etsy, before the internet itself, if you can imagine. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you were born and the internet already existed, but I was born before the internet existed. And I'm going to bring you back in that day, in that era, if you will. Back then, you had to be home when the streetlights came on. That's not a joke. I mean, we could joke about it, but let me just explain to you. When those streetlights came on, you never saw a whole group of kids running like they were in a race back towards their house, trying to get inside real quiet, hoping nobody heard that door close that you got in, and it's kind of already dark at this point. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't want to get caught. Parents didn't play back then. There was no, hit me and I'll call the cops. It was they beat your ass and then they could call the cops and the cops would threaten to bring your little 9-year-old ass to prison to straighten you out. That was scare tactics. But listen, it was a different day. It was a different era. You ain't doing the shit that happened back in my day. That shit ain't happening. You know what I mean? Like, neighbors knew each other. I don't know what kind of neighborhood you live in. I mean, maybe everybody is from that neighborhood and they grew up there and grandparents and they're still there and everybody still knows each other. But a lot of neighborhoods have changed. People move, they get different jobs. The world seems more connected because of the internet, actually. And it's easier to move. You go online and you could turn on electric in another state or figure things out in another country through the internet if you really needed to. But there I go digressing again. Haha, I do that. Ooh, that was a quick little short one. That sounded like a shart. But anyway, neighbors knew neighbors and they knew you, okay? They knew who your parents were and where you lived. And let me explain something to you real quickly here. If you did something stupid or disrespectful or if you were just plain being dumb, all right, you were playing around as a kid, showing off in front of your friends, or you did something, and then something that you wouldn't want an adult seeing you do, but an adult saw you do it. Trust when I tell you, you better hope that person doesn't give you a whack and then call your parents. So then by the time you get home, you're getting another whack around. You know what I mean? Like, people watched out for each other's kids. They would give each other's kids. Kids would just go into different houses and know each other's parents. And, there'd be snacks or fruit or something. But at the end of all that, hopping over each other's houses and stuff like that, riding our bikes in the streets and stuff, we would get kicked out. Every parent, even my own. You know what we heard back then? Go outside and play. That's what we heard. And there was no arguing about it. You didn't argue about go outside and play. You might try to say, oh, it's raining. Okay, you might try to say, look, it's raining. You know what you would hear? It's not lightning. Water's not going to hurt you. Water is not going to hurt you. Go outside and play. Parents nowadays, man, they don't get that kind of break. I gotta say that. They don't. I mean, they can still say go outside and play. It's not like outside don't still exist, but they got more cool toys, man. They got games that I can't even watch people play some of these games because it looks like I'm watching a freaking cartoon that you're controlling it, and it's freaking me out. I feel like I'm watching a movie that the person next to me is making happen, and it's bananas. I don't play video games because let me tell you, I'm that person that I will turn the whole entire controller with my body to try to make the thing go left or right or up and down. It's too. I'd rather watch other people play, but I digress again. There I go. Woo woo. That's great. I love it. And back then, let me tell you, your parent, the hell is a parent? Oh, I made a word. That's a parent or guardian. Whoa, brother. That's what's up. I just made a word. Parent. You're welcome. I just added to the dictionary. If your parent or guardian, aka parent, gave you the look, there's still parents out there that could give the look. And that kid, let me tell you, they'll stop whatever nonsense they're doing once they see they're getting the look. Because the look, if you don't know, the look is a look. It's like maybe sometimes it's a one raised eyebrow, like something like The Rock would do, when he would lift one eyebrow up and look at you like, yeah, like he's crazy, he's about to tear your shit up. Yeah, well, that's kind of the look. It's I don't know, you could feel it go through your whole body, and you're basically frozen like a deer in headlights, like you're caught with your hand in a cookie jar, whatever kind of nonsense. It don't matter what you're doing. If it's something you know that you wouldn't want them seeing you do, and they catch you doing it, or you're being aggravating, or you're mouthing off, and you get to a point where you know you went a little too far, and you get that look, you stop what you're doing right there. You cut it off right there. You might mumble a little bit to yourself, but you're done. You might talk shit when you go in your room and close the door, but you're done there. You shut it down. It was shut down. Oh, here's one. You know the phrase, I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase, where you at? People might call you up and that's what they're asking, where are you? Where are you at? Right? That phrase did not even exist, I have to say, really, in my opinion. It didn't exist when I was coming up because there were no cell phones. I sound like I'm born in the 1800s. Good God. Oh, man. But there weren't cell phones the way there are now. No, not at all. If you wanted to call me, guess where you called me? You called my house. I didn't pick up the phone and say hello, and you didn't ask me, where you at? Because if you asked me where I was, I would probably give the look. The look would be on my face. Like, what's wrong with you? My eyebrow would definitely raise. I would look like I just sucked on a lemon. And I would say, what do you mean, where am I? I'm in my living room or in another room trying to get away from my family so I could get some privacy on the phone for 5 seconds. Why are you asking me where I'm at? You know where I'm at. You just call my house. Where do you think I am? You want to know what room? Are you asking, am I on a toilet? No, I'm not on the toilet. What are you asking me where I'm at? That's real. I'm sorry. It's not nice to say, but that's a stupid question in that era. But now, I gotta say, man, cell phones are awesome. They're cool. They got so many things we could do with them and everything else, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But... and I do mean that. Cell phones are cool. They're very convenient. It's nice to have with you. If you get in trouble, something happens, you break down, you need directions. If you don't have, I don't know, you should have GPS. See, you got GPS, you don't even get lost anymore. But that, to me, in a way, sucks too, because before GPS existed, you did get lost or you were forced to ask people for directions and figure shit out on your own. You didn't have some lady saying, take a left in 200 feet, and you still miss that left. Really? Really? Come on. Those people would not have survived back in my time. If the people that can't even follow the directions, that you're watching a fucking map where you're driving and the map is exactly where you are, you're the dot, it's showing you, get off here, it's coming up in 200 feet and you got plenty of time, you're seeing where you're going and there's nobody in the way, and you keep messing up every time with a GPS, you would have been fucked back in the day. I'm telling you now, excuse my language, I'm sorry, but there's no nice way to put that shit. You would have been just up a creek without a paddle. How's that? Is that better? That's better. There, that's for the lighthearted or whatever, the sensitive people. That's what I think of them. Can't be sensitive and listen to me. I'm just saying. I mean, you should already figured that shit out on day one. You know how you knew where your friends were? Okay. Now, with the cell phone, it's like you got to answer to people for everywhere you are, every moment of every day, or you got to lie. My phone was dead. My ringer was off. It's like, it's nice to have cell phones. They're awesome. But there are a lot of downsides to it for some people. Some people might have to lie because they just don't want to be bothered with anybody for, a couple hours. Give me a little bit of time to breathe and just be with my thoughts. But no, there goes your phone ringing, texting, everything else, notifications, trying to get your attention. And then you got people that are like, where were you? Blah, blah, blah. People can track you on your phone to know exactly where you are. Like, that's bananas. Went a little too far, in my opinion, man. That's a little too far, If you wanted to find your friends back in the day, you had to go out. You picked up the phone, you called their house, and if they weren't home, if it was like a Saturday, and if it was after Saturday morning cartoons, okay, you had your bowl of cereal, and you watched your Saturday morning cartoons. At least I know I did. And if you wanted to find your friends, certain people, yeah, I could pick up the phone. I knew their schedule type deal. We were tight, and I would just pick up the phone and call them and make plans. You made plans. It wasn't, now it's more spur of the moment. Where are you at? Bop, bop, bop. Because you could just call somebody wherever they are and meet up with them right there and then. You couldn't do that back in the day. Back in the day, either you called somebody when they were home, or you hoped that somebody that answered the phone knew you well enough to tell you where that person was. Because a lot of the times, family wouldn't tell other people where people went, or they just didn't know where they were, right? You better know where they are. But when you're younger, you would find your friends because you would see a bunch of bikes outside of somebody's house or apartment. And you would see 7, 8 bikes all piled together, some on kickstands, some on the lawn. And you're like, oh, that's where everybody is. That's how you found your friends. You either called them before they left the house, because once they left, that might be it. You might be shit out of luck until tomorrow. Or they might be shit out of luck till tomorrow because they didn't hit you up before you left, But now it's like anybody could call you at any time, anywhere. And you got to give people reasons why you can't or won't meet up with them. You can't even just not be home and do what you want to do and be where you want to be with who you want to be with. Nowadays, you got to fucking, if you answer your phone now, you better be prepared to answer to all different people of, if you don't feel like, if you're enjoying your night with who you're with, even if you're alone, if you're enjoying your night, whether you're relaxing by yourself and you're just chilling and you're loving it, or if you're enjoying 1, 2, 3 people, whatever you're doing, if you're having a good night and you're doing what you want to do with the people or the person you'd want to be with, and now you have a choice. Now you either have to ignore your phone, turn your ringer off, and lie to people, or you could no, that's not a lie. If you turn the ringer off, you could say, oh, my ringer was off. I didn't know that you called, and then you don't have to give people a reason why you were having a good time and didn't want to leave it and go do something with them. Because some people get offended if you say, no, thanks, I'm busy. Some people will act like they're cool with it, but in the reality of it, some people do get a little pissy pants about if you turn them down. So you got that kind of pressure having constant contact with everybody who knows you, But anyway, you know what else is a really good one? I just thought of it. Crank calling people. Okay? Now they call it phone tap or whatever. Some people call it that, but we used to call it prank call or crank call. All right, prank call, whatever. Before caller ID, you used to be able to call anybody you wanted and they had no idea it was you because there was no *69 to find what number just called you or anything at all like that. You could pick up the phone and literally dial any number you wanted and no one would know that it was you that called at all. It was crazy. When I was a kid, I remember I would spell things out. You know how the phone has letters on each number, right? I would spell things out and call people. What did I spell out? EATSHIT. Yeah, I called eat shit. I sure did. I called eat shit, and I let the person know. I was like, do you know that your phone number spells eat shit? No, I'm not telling you to go prank call people or do, shit like that. I'm talking about when I was a kid, all right, a little teenager, like 13, 14 years old. You know what I mean? When I was doing little kid stuff. I don't know. It was fun. It was just silly kid stuff. But now you can't do that because you could see the phone number and who it is and you practically get their social security number and a drop of blood right away when somebody calls. It's like spam. They don't even have a chance anymore. My cell phone tells me when it's spam. It's like spam risk. I'm like, man, those people that work there, they're screwed now. The technology finally caught up with their bullshit somewhat. There's still a lot of bullshit that needs to be caught up with, but they did catch up with the spam shit for the most part. Oh, safety. Oh, yeah. Safety was a completely different issue when I was growing up. Like, it was acceptable to have kids sitting in the back seat with no seatbelt. Just let them. I remember sliding around the back seat. Really. Like, it was so armor-all. I would just slide, and there was 4 of us. When there was 4 of us, we were tucked in good. It was like we held each other in. Not even kidding, man. And I mean, like, it was acceptable to, let the 5-year-old drive, right? Let them steer with no seatbelt. But there were no airbags either, actually. I don't know if that makes a huge difference or not. It was usually, back roads or something like that. But now it's like the law does not play with safety anymore. You better have this and that and all the other. I was coming up and people put kids on a telephone book and put a seatbelt on them. It was like, you'll be fine. We did. It's like the memes that you see online. I mean, we drank out of the hose. And you better know when you turn that hose on, let the water run for a few minutes because the first bit of water that's coming out, first of all, that's going to be nasty because some of it's been sitting inside the hose. Secondly, it's going to be hot as fuck if the sun has been beating on it. If you drink out of a hose, I'm just warning you, let that shit flow out for a few minutes and feel the temp of the water before you put it to your lips. All right? Because you really don't want to drink scalding water when you're dripping sweat and you want a nice cold drink and you get your tongue burnt from the fucking water coming out of the hose. All right? Yes, that's happened to me multiple times. You would think, no, once you learn one time, right? Nah, not me. Nope. I know now. I don't drink out of the hose anymore because my hose, I always have like a squirty thing connected. And, well, no, that's not true. I have squirted myself in the face, so, and friggin' like, go like, and you get some water while you're sweating your head off. I've done that. Why not? Mist your hair a little bit, push it back, got it pulled up off my neck and all that. There ain't nothing wrong with spraying the water up in the sky and feeling like, especially in a hot summer day, for sure. This is starting to sound sexual, so I'm going to stop talking about squirting things in my face. Oh my God. Here, where's the fart gun? Holy shit. Oh, I got a real good one. This is back in the day shit, okay? Check this one out, all right? I was a teenager. I had a crush on a boy. And I came to find out that he had a crush on me. And he asked me out on a date. And he came to my house. And I was super excited. Like, super excited to find out that this guy had a crush on me as well. Imagine you have a crush on someone for like months, right? Secret crush. You don't say anything. You don't do anything about it. And then you find out that they have a crush on you as well. Like, fireworks, right? And the sad part, I don't even remember the kid's name, but I remember the story and I remember what happened. He came to my house and he beeped. Beep, beep, beep. Pulled up in my driveway and beeped. And I was like, all giddy, because my bedroom looked out the front of the house. So I saw his car and I heard him beep, 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 beep. I was like, oh, hello. And I went running down the stairs all excited. And my mom was downstairs and I'm like big shit-eating grin on my face. I had a nice outfit, my hair, makeup, everything done, looking all sharp, right? And my mom's downstairs and I get downstairs and she looks at me, serious look on her face. And she's like, where do you think you're going? I said, I'm going out for dinner. She said, no, where do you think you're going? I said, I'm going out for dinner. And then I went to go grab the front door to walk out. I said, I'll see you later. I'll be home later. And she grabs the front door and pushes it closed and looks at me and goes, no daughter of mine answers to a beep. And she looked, I remember this like it was last week, baby. And she says, you stay right here. And you know, I didn't play games when it came to my mom. Not like that. I knew better. Or at least I knew better then. Well, at that point, I knew better. And she said, you stay here. And I was like, Mom, please don't. I didn't know what she was going to do or what was going to happen. But I was like, why is she doing this? She's going to ruin this date. What is she doing? She walks outside, right? I'm standing there looking through the screen door. She told me to stay in the house, so I'm staying in the house. And she walks outside, walks up to the guy's car. I see her gesture her hand like roll the window down. He rolls the window down while she's saying roll the window down. He's already rolling it down. And I see her say something to him and turn around and walk back to the house with a big smile on her face. And I was like, oh no. Like, oh no. Oh, I was shitting my pants. Like, she came back in the house with such a smile, such a shit-eating grin on her face. She gets in the house. I said, Mom, what did you say to him? She said, I just asked him if his legs were broken. I said, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Because she told me no daughter of mine answers to a beep. And she went outside and asked that boy, are your legs broken? And that's all she said. And she walked back in the house. Or she might have said something else, but I remember are your legs broken? And he said no. And she said, well then, she said no. Or he said no. And she said something along the lines of that he needs to come to the door and knock on it if he wants to see her daughter. That's right. Yep. And she came back in the house and told me she had said all that. And I was like, oh my God, I'm waiting to hear his car go in reverse and take off. And do you know this boy came to the door and knocked? And my mother, and I went to go answer the door and she was like, oh no, I got it. And I'm like, oh my God, Ma, please. And she answered the door and she was like, yeah, hello, how are you? And he laughed and he said, I'm fine, how are you? Is Suezie home? I'd like to take her out for dinner. And she was like, why, yes, she is. Come on in, please. And she was very nice to him, very pleasant, and kept it very lighthearted. But you know, and I was pissed. I'm going to be honest. I was a teenager. I was embarrassed and I was pissed when him and I went out for dinner, because as far as I was concerned, it wasn't that big a deal, you know, to do that. And I felt like at the time to try to ruin my night with somebody I really liked for no reason, you know, and to make like kind of a joke about it when he comes in the house, like it's not a big deal that she did or that, and we're all good now. And I was just so pissed. But now that I'm grown, I look back and boy, was I hard-headed. Oh my God, I still am. But boy, oh boy, was I hard-headed. And I'm so thankful that she did that, because, you know, it's true. I'm not sitting here saying I'm some kind of princess and I deserve the royal treatment and run out the red carpet. Hey, listen, you want to run out a red carpet, that's fine. I'm all about that. But that's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying if somebody, to this day, if somebody wants to go out and do something with me, I'm not going to go running out like a friggin' trained dog when I hear beep, beep, beep. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm sorry. It's not happening. If it's a friend, at this point, guess what? I have a cell phone. They're going to tell me I'm pulling up now. And if we're on a time restraint, then yeah, I'll run outside and I'll be out there waiting to see your car pull up. Boom, let's go. I don't play games like that. You know, I try not to waste people's time. If somebody texts me and says, hey, you know what I mean? If we're on our way to go do something or something like that, and they're like, hey, I'm coming, I'll be there 5 minutes, I'm around the corner, I'm gonna make sure I grab my shit and I'm ready. Or if it's not raining or crappy out, I'll be waiting to see their car so I could, boom, out the door, here we go. But if you're somebody that I'm dating, and especially somebody I just started dating, and especially our first date, you're out of your fucking mind if you think that you can come up to the front of my crib and go beep bitty beep beep bitty beep and my ass is gonna come running out like fa la 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 la. That shit ain't happening. You could take that shit to the bank. And on that note, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Suezie Show. You know where you can find me, obviously, because you're listening to me now, but Let's see if I can remember. Let's see. I'm on YouTube. Just look up The Suezie Show, and it's Suezie. I'm on Anchor. I'm on Spotify for podcasts. Google Podcasts. Some other stuff too. I don't know, man. I gotta make a list of it and put it here, but again, I can't help it. If you're listening to me right now, you found me. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you sticking around this whole entire time to just kind of reminisce a little bit with me. I hope you're having a great day or great night, where it depends on when you're listening to me, right? But I will see you next time on The Suezie Show. I'll see you next time on The Suezie Show. Yeah.
Thanks for listening and hanging out. I'll see you next time, without a doubt. Now you know where I am and you know where to go. See you next time on The Suezie Show. See you next time on The Suezie Show.